Alrighty, we're live. So I've got Corey with the Elite Home Inspections here. Corey, how we
Hello.
doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
Doing all right. How
Good.
uh how's everything been?
Man, we have been so busy. It's insane. I've hired a couple new inspectors. I got one guy out on the field now he's out of training. He's doing fantastic. Got
Good.
another guy in the works right now. So hopefully I'll have him up and running here in the next 3 months or so.
Awesome.
So it's
So
been busy.
you have what, three guys?
Three guys. Yep.
Okay. So you and three guys?
That's correct. Yep.
Cool. So you're definitely growing then.
We are. We're growing. We're trying to stay up. It's a grind every day, but yeah,
Yeah.
we're moving.
Well, how in the wide world of home inspectors, how did you get into this business?
Well, so my wife and I, we did a lot of flipping homes, and
Okay.
we've always done something in the real estate realm. And I worked for the government, and I knew my time was coming to an end there. I was going to retire early, and we decided to just start this because we've always had a hand in construction or something real estate. We've owned a mortgage company before. We've done a lot, and so we just started it up. It's pretty as simple as that. And
Yeah.
when I first decided to make this move, I went ahead and got certified in everything. So I went through the radon school, I went through the termites, I went through everything just so I could have all the certifications in house, so we don't have to hire third party contractors. And
Awesome.
that's really benefited us quite a bit.
So do you said you're certified and all that. Do
Mm-hmm.
you actually do you do the inspection, you say, "Hey, you're good," or "You're
Mm-hmm.
not good."
Yep.
Do you help them with the treatment also, or no?
Okay, so that was a an area that I didn't want to get into because I felt like it'd be a conflict of interest if I'm the one finding that they have A, radon, or B, termites, trying
Yeah.
to sell them on treatment. I just didn't want to live with that over
Okay.
my head, thinking that they thought I was taking advantage of them. So we do not get into the mitigation or the treatments of anything. We just are there to test.
Gotcha. Well, that's kind of nice then.
Yeah,
Because you have no, like, you're making your 25 or $30 or whatever you charge
yeah,
for that.
hmm,
And then obviously, radon's more expensive, but
right.
you're not, it's not like that one test is going to make or break your career. So
No, no, it's not. It's not. But I just really did not want anybody thinking like, "Hey, man, how's this guy really finding termites every time?" I didn't want that over my head, so I'm like,
right.
"We're not going to treat. We're just going to test."
Yeah. So how long did all that take you to get your certifications and all that?
Well, to be just if I'm being really honest here, so the hardest certification was the radon. I failed the test 3 times. It felt like
Yeah.
uh, it was just tough, and finally, I was sent the wrong study guides. So once I got the right study guides, I was good to go. But the radon was tough. So it took me, I think, about 4.5 months to get. It's not a long time, but it was just a grueling process. I added radon, wanted to add radon, honestly, just for money, but I left the schooling scared to death of the gas.
Really?
Yeah, it's tough. It's
So
scary.
tell us, like, what is radon? Because I don't. I mean, personally, I know what it is, but I don't know the full realm of all that. Plus, I mean, the public really doesn't know much about it either.
Right. Radon is a gas it comes from the ground. It is has alpha particles. It's radium is the main molecule, and so it has all these alpha particles that are cancerous. So the second they hit your lungs, these alpha particles never come out of your lungs, and
Really?
radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer. It's just absolutely insane. The biggest misconception, and I'm glad you kind of touched on radon a little bit here, is the biggest misconception everybody has is that, oh, since the house doesn't have a basement, it doesn't have to be tested. That is the false. That's so false. It has no
Okay.
bearing. The basement has no bearing on it. There's still
So
ground underneath the house.
so it comes from underneath, from the
It comes
ground.
it comes from underneath. And when it's more prevalent in the winter times when you're running your heater more and it sucks that ground gases up and just distributes it through your house.
Gotcha.
So
Interesting.
basements have no bearing on it.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I did
Yes.
not know that.
Yeah, well, now you do. It's. I know I didn't either. I didn't know anything about radon, but man, I tell you, that's the biggest thing. A lot of realtors say, well, since it doesn't have a basement, it doesn't need testing. I'm like, Well, I could send you some paperwork on that and you could read that for yourself. I don't want you to hear it from me, but I could send you what K State sends me.
Yeah.
And I do that sometimes. So they get a full gist of it doesn't matter.
So you get a lot of I guess studies or whatever from you said from K State.
Well, that's where I had to go to school. That's where I went to
Oh, okay.
school to before I was able to take the test. I had to complete X amount of hours of course, and they called it a crash course in nuclear physics. And I was like,
Really?
yeah, I was like, this is really condensed and it's so much information. It was nothing but note taking the whole time. So
Huh. So did you have to go up to Manhattan or
no,
was it online?
I did it right here over on the line. I was attended online classes and got it taken care of. So
Interesting.
yeah,
I, did, I guess I didn't know that it was that involved.
it really is. I didn't either when I first started, but then I found out really quick.
Yeah. Huh. Wow. All right. Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Good to know.
There you go, a little tidbit.
So you had mentioned that you were kind of in construction before this. You did a bunch of flips. You said.
Yeah, my wife and I, we always lived in a house, and we bought houses that were kind of not perfect. We'd
Mm.
live in them, gut them. Her and I did all the work, and we'd live in them for 2 years, so that way we can get outside of capital gains taxes. The second that 2 year mark hit, we sold and just keep doing that. And we just kept flipping and doing it that way.
Yeah.
And we both had day jobs. So she at the time was working second shift, and I was on first shift. So I'd have notes on the wall like paint this wall, or refinish these cabinets. It was just a good partnership, and
Yeah.
we had a lot of fun doing it. Then the market kind of got too expensive for me to purchase those homes. I mean, I could probably still do it, but it's just I got used to buying them at such a lower
Yep.
price than they are now. I wouldn't feel good doing it. So
Well, we've seen so much. I don't want to use the word inflation because I don't think that's necessarily the right word,
right,
but we've just seen such an uptick in pricing on even the houses that need a complete gut job.
I know.
It's kind of nuts, but
Yeah,
it if you have access to the good ones, then you're making some money. And I
right.
I personally haven't bought one in like 2 or 3 years because I haven't been
Yeah.
able to make my numbers make sense.
See, that's the way I am. So now I'm on the other side of it to where I do hard money lending for flippers right now. So that's
Okay.
kind of my side thing that I do, and it's a way to still be involved in it. So I
Yeah.
go like when they call me and say, "Hey, I have a house, that I'm interested in," I'll actually go inspect it before I lend the money. So
Well, that's kind of a you're making sure that your money is going to be safe.
100%, one
So
hundred percent.
that
So
that's actually not a bad idea. I hadn't thought about that
yeah.
because that one of the last ones that I bought, I bought it from a lady that she needed to move in less than 3 weeks,
Oh wow,
and she had a job offer in Colorado, and if she wasn't there by a certain date, then the job wasn't there anymore.
wow.
And so I got it, and I got it at a really good deal, and or so I thought. And I got in there, got my tenant in there. I did some updating, paint, flooring, did some
Right,
plumbing, made sure everything was in good order.
right.
And then we got a really good um, rain.
Oh man.
Well, the back portion of this house, it used to be a patio on the outside.
Okay.
Well, the lady told me, hey, at some point somebody finished this in, but we don't have any leaks or anything like that. Yeah, right. So I ended up having to basically demolish the back half of this house,
Oh,
rebuild it,
oh
and
my
we
goodness.
found, those little metal like poles that are on like little canopies.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's what they built this back half of this house off of.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Oh my
So
gosh.
you're
So what you
talking
thought was a
about,
good deal was not.
yeah, I ended up spending like 15 grand just to redo this whole patio section, which if it wasn't, if the washer and dryer weren't in there, I would have
Mhm.
just made it a patio again.
Oh man.
But yeah, the washer and dryer were in there, and there wasn't really a good space to put it outside of there. So I was like,
Oh
well,
my gosh.
oh well.
That's awful. I hate that.
But yeah, so that's my little story on buying houses. But I sold it actually towards the end of last year, and I still made a little bit of money. So I mean, it
Right.
wasn't you know it
Right. You didn't lose too much.
right. It was one of those. It was a good learning experience.
Look,
I
there you
I
go.
learned I learned a little bit of what to look for now.
That's right. And that's tough. I mean, having rentals, like we had rentals too. We have one right now, but I just don't want to have any more. It's just not fun for me,
Yeah.
that whole life. I just don't want to have to count on, I don't want to chase down this money from people
Right.
all the time. So it's what it is.
Yep. That's understandable. So what like how does your process work? Like obviously I know you have a website.
Yep.
Do like people go on there or do they call you or how does that work?
Listen, I mean, we're open for anything. So on our webpage, they can go on there and they hit the schedule now button and it sends us a form. We'll call them and book it. A lot of people text me,
Okay.
text, call, whatever. But I have this new thing that's coming out. They, they say in about 20 days, I think. This is the first time I've talked about it. So,
Oh yeah.
yes,
Breaking news.
breaking news. EHI has created their own app. So
Oh,
it is just for realtors. It's called EHI Go. It's going to be just a little app on their phone. They click and it makes the process for booking so much simpler. So no more going to the web page. They just click a button, type in three little pieces of info, and it sends right to us in books. So
nice.
we decided to spend a little money and have our own app created, and so that's going to be pretty cool. So I'm
So
excited for that.
how does that work? Who do you even call for that?
So I from my government time, I knew people who did some developing for like the VA, who developed like software for the VA and stuff. So I kind of reached out and said, "Hey, what would it take to create an app? I have no idea what to do here." And they actually put me in contact with the right engineers that needed to do it, and we started the process like a year ago. And
Oh.
it's a long process because there's so much testing back and forth. Like, this didn't work the way I wanted it to, you know. And so we're finally now at that stage to where, hey, it's going to go in about 20-25 days.
So it's not a 2 week process.
It is not a 2 week process, and if it is, it's probably not going to work properly.
More than likely.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that
right now
that's
they're in
really
the phase.
cool.
Yeah, they're in the phase now to have it added to the Apple Store and the Google Store. So that way
Awesome.
people can go download it for free and have it on their phone. But it's just for realtors.
Okay. So that's a it essentially just helps you streamline a little bit more.
I'm trying to make it convenient for them. Like, you know, yes, they could text me all day long. That's fine. But you know, if they don't want to do that, click an app and it's literally three pieces of information and it sends it's crazy. So I'm
Nice.
just trying to make it convenient for people.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
that'll be cool. You'll have to
Yeah,
let
no,
us know when that's ready, and
yep,
we'll for sure get it downloaded.
absolutely.
And I know that'll make some of my people pretty
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah. Ashley Starr. She's a
Yep.
rock star, isn't she?
Yep. So what does your like? You show up to the house.
hmm
What's the first thing you do once you get there?
So first thing we do, we pull up. House is vacant or not, we always try to make contact because I have unfortunately walked in on some squatters in a house before and felt really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So we always knock on the door first thing. I don't care if it shows vacant online or not. And then after that, first thing we start doing is taking outside pictures for a cover picture for our software. And then we jump up on the roof. First place we start, top down, and then work our way around. Then we go inside and
Okay.
start knocking it out.
So do you? I know some inspectors they just use like a drone or something to look at the roof. Do you do a drone or do you physically get on the roof?
We put boots on every roof. We have drones available, but they just haven't. I prefer to put boots on it.
Okay.
And even if it's a real pitchy roof, we'll make an attempt. We'll get up there and then we have selfie sticks that are really long that we could really scan it. It's so much easier than the drone. So to
Gotcha.
me, and I know for some other inspectors, the drone is the way to go, but for me, it just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Now I
What the?
use it more for family pictures.
Yeah, from high in the sky.
From high in the sky, exactly.
There you go. I see your picture behind you, an airplane.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of flying?
No, I was in the service for a long time. I jumped out of those things.
Oh,
Yeah, I was pararescue in the military, and
okay.
for a lot of years, many years ago, mind you. And yeah, I used to jump out of those things. That was my that's my retirement photograph there that they give and sign and everything like that. So
Really? I did
yeah,
not know that. So
yeah, no,
that,
a lot of weird little things about me.
huh. Well, what I guess what's it like jumping out of an airplane?
Well, the first time was a little scary. So, little backstory. So, during training to jump, you're not jumping out of a plane. You're jumping off towers with lines hooked to you. So it's not that scary. Well, when your first jump comes, and they like to give you it's the military, so they like to give you really harsh scenarios. And so, our first jump just so happened to be at midnight over Corpus Christi, the ocean, over water at midnight. And who do you think's first? Well, my last name begins with an A. So I'm the guy at the door, the first guy to go out. And they say, on the count of three, you're jumping. Well, at 1.5, they kicked me out the door. So, yeah. Luckily, we had static line hooked up, so our chutes pull by themselves. And so it was a little nerve wracking. But
Yeah,
then I started getting really into it. We're doing higher jumps, like 20,000 foot, 14 to 20,000 foot jumps, where we had to have oxygen bottles and stuff like that, and those were fun.
so how do you carry an oxygen tank flying through the air?
It's a little disposable. They're little tiny little. Back then, they were really small. This was in the '90s, so
Okay,
back then technology's changed quite a bit. They have little tanks that are hooked to their deal, but these were little bitty disposable things back then.
gotcha.
Yeah,
That is so interesting.
yeah,
I mean, I personally, I have no desire to jump out of an airplane.
yeah. No, I hear you. I don't want to do it anymore. I
Yeah,
mean, I was young and crazier, and ready for that adrenaline rush, but
I
you know.
yep, I feel you there. So, how does kind of backtracking a little bit? How does your reports work? Because I know there's a lot of different types and kind of
Mhm,
how they're set up and all that. So,
mhm.
how does yours look?
Well, so ours are all digital. So the second we're done with the inspection, usually the clients there will go over the whole report with them, and then we publish them, and it sends an electronic link to you guys. And it, I'm sure Jake Edenfield. You use him a lot. He uses Spectora software. We use the
Hmm.
same software. Yeah, I find that Spectora is user friendly, and the reports, just the way they are laid out, are just great.
Okay,
So same thing, it comes in a big digital form. You could also download it in a PDF version. But yeah, all of our reports are right then and there. So we don't wait. We don't mess around like some. I knew back in the day when I was having inspections done. This was 10, 12 years ago. It would take 24, 48 hours to get a report. Well, those days are gone. I mean, people need them right now. So
so whenever I first started in real estate, the home inspector that I used back then, um, he would actually print the whole report
my goodness.
out like there at the house. He had a portable printer that he hooked up
Yep.
to his computer.
That was high
And
tech.
yeah, yep. And so you actually walked out with a physical copy of your home inspection. Now, there was only one.
Right.
So, like us as agents, we're like, okay, so how do we get like I'm gonna have to take this report from my people to type up a repair request for you.
Right. Right.
So it that was interesting,
Yeah.
but
Thank God for technology.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, now everything is online, and
Yes.
like you can look at it at 2 a.m. if you want.
If you want, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, the software has come a long ways, and there's some other good ones out there. But my personal favorite is Spectora. It cost us a little bit more to have, but I feel like for the client and you guys down the road, I think that cost is nothing.
It's super user friendly.
Oh my gosh, it is to me it's the best software there.
Yeah. So what you've been doing this a while.
Hmm.
What's a crazy story that you can tell us without getting in trouble?
Okay, so I, that's a good question. So I won't talk about like I don't like to like badmouth homes or anything I've been in. I don't like to do that, but I can tell you something that happened to me. So one time I was downtown. I think it was on Market Street, I believe. It's a historical area, old homes. And I went and did the inspection on this house during the day. Well, there was no water, no utilities. So I called the agent. They're like, well, they'll have it on later. So kind of trying to reschedule things is tough when we're booked all the time. And so I told him, I said, well, it'll have to be that evening. I'll go back at some time and finish the inspection. So it was about 8:30 at night. I go back to the place. Yes, there's lights on. Good. It's an old, creepy house, mind you. And so the is up on the second story, the pull down to the attic, and it had one of those attics that you could just get up in and walk around. It could have been a third story.
Yeah.
But I pull the ladder down and I start to climb up, and I don't know. It looks like this was all set up, but there was mannequins set around the entrance, and I literally, it's dark, mind you. I flashed my light on a mannequin that had a clown mask on, and I fell off the ladder onto my back into the hallway of that house. I literally wanted to leave that place.
That's something you'll never forget.
Never. So now I'm a little more cautious when I'm walking up into attics and flash my light. A little scared right away, but yeah, that freaked me out. There was two or three mannequins surrounding the entrance, and it was just creepy.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
When was that?
That was last year. It was cold outside, so I'm gonna say it was December
Yeah.
when that happened. So it was just strange. And it was a vacant house too, which, all the creaky noises, especially after seeing that up there, I was like, I heard everything after that.
Yep, exactly. You even saw stuff that wasn't even there.
Yeah, I did. And then I've had a few snakes come try to say hi in crawl spaces, and I am not a fan of snakes.
Yep. Nope. I don't do snakes.
Yeah. So
I
unfortunately, these realtors got to hear my high pitched scream and me come boiling out of the crawl space. So
yeah, I don't do anything that crawls other than dogs and babies.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's a no-go for me.
Yeah, it freaks me out. So,
well, Corey, to wrap this up, how do people get in touch with you?
okay, so have a huge social media presence. So on all the social medias, EHI Wichita is our handle, all one. And they can go to www.ehiwichita.com. That's our webpage. Or, if they want to just shoot me a text, 316-302-5671. And that's
awesome.
the best ways to get us. And soon, the app.
Yep. Well, cool. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get out of here and we'll see you on the next one.
All right, buddy. Have a good one, guys.